Arguably the most successful player in the game, who has smashed virtually every record in the book. 7 times world snooker champion and world #1, Stephen Hendry!
Ronnie O'Sullivan is the greatest snooker player who ever lived. 7 world titles, 8 UK championships, 8 Masters crowns, over 1,300 centuries, more than anyone in history. But for all his brilliance, the Rocket has made enemies. Lots of them. Some he humiliated on the table, others he insulted off it, and a few, he's been feuding with them for over 30 years. These are 10 players who absolutely cannot stand Ronnie O'Sullivan. Number 10. Alain Robidoux, April 1996. The World Championship at the Crucible. 20-year-old Ronnie O'Sullivan was already one of the most talented players on tour. His opponent in the first round was Canadian journeyman Alain Robidoux. O'Sullivan was cruising. He led 8-2, and then he did something nobody expected. He started playing left-handed. Not because he had to, not because the shot demanded it. He just did it because he could. Commentator John Virgo described it as O'Sullivan taking the mick. Robidoux was furious. He felt humiliated, disrespected. When O'Sullivan missed the brown in the 11th frame, Robidoux refused to concede. He was 75 points behind with only pink and black on the table. No chance of winning. But he kept playing for 8 agonizing minutes. When the match finally ended 10-3, Robidoux walked straight past O'Sullivan. No handshake, nothing. In a post-match interview, O'Sullivan went nuclear. He called Robidoux rubbish and said he was acting like a baby. Then came the killer line. "I'm better with my left hand than he is with his right." The governing body investigated. O'Sullivan was hauled into a disciplinary hearing where he had to prove he could actually play left-handed at a competitive level. He played 3 frames against former world champion Rex Williams. Left-handed, won all 3. Years later, Robidoux apologized. He admitted he'd misread the situation, but the damage was done. That match became a defining moment in O'Sullivan's reputation as snooker's ultimate showman and ultimate provocateur. Number 9. Peter Ebdon. If Robidoux represented O'Sullivan's disrespect, Peter Ebdon represented something far worse: psychological torture. April 2005, the World Championship quarterfinals. O'Sullivan was the defending champion. Ebdon was the 2002 world champion, known for one thing above all else: playing slowly. O'Sullivan raced into an 8-2 lead. It should have been over, but Ebdon had other plans. He slowed down, way down. At one point, Ebdon took 3 minutes to play a single shot. In the 19th frame, he compiled a break of 12 points. Just 12. It took him over 5.5 minutes. To put that in perspective, O'Sullivan's record 147 maximum break at the 1997 World Championship took 5 minutes and 8 seconds. Ebdon made 12 points in longer than that. O'Sullivan couldn't cope. He lost all momentum. He started asking audience members what time it was. His concentration evaporated. Ebdon won 11 of the last 14 frames. Final score 13-11 to Ebdon. O'Sullivan later called it the most painful experience of my snooker career. He said watching Ebdon play was like having no enjoyment from your own performance and getting no enjoyment from watching him. During the COVID lockdowns, Stephen Hendry asked O'Sullivan how he was handling being stuck at home. O'Sullivan's response was brutal. "I'd rather play Peter Ebdon over 4 days at the Crucible at his slowest. That's saying something." Ebdon, for his part, always maintained he didn't play slow on purpose. "When I'm trying my hardest, I seem to go slow," he said. "I don't do it intentionally." When the Times newspaper described his slow play as cheating, Ebdon sued for libel. He retired in 2024 due to a neck injury. He never forgot O'Sullivan's comments, and O'Sullivan never forgot those tortuous frames at the Crucible. Number 8. Shaun Murphy. This one goes back further than most people realize, 30 years to be exact. In an interview for David, Hendon's book Pots of Gold, A History of Snooker, Murphy made a stunning revelation. "We fell out when I was young," Murphy said. "Ronnie verbally abused me when I was 12 and I never forgave him. I vividly remember it." Murphy, the 2005 world champion and now a 12-time ranking event winner, has spent decades in O'Sullivan's shadow. And despite his respect for O'Sullivan's talent, he's never held back on criticizing his behavior. "For all of the good things Ronnie has done with his snooker ability," Murphy said, "I think he's done an equal amount of, if not more, damage to the sport from an ambassadorial point of view." Murphy compared O'Sullivan unfavorably to tennis legends Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, players who use their platforms to grow their sports. "He hasn't taken a leaf out of their book and treated the sport that's given him so much with the same level of respect," Murphy argued. "If he had used his platform for good, he could have single-handedly dragged snooker into a different stratosphere in terms of popularity." Murphy won the 2025 Masters, his second Masters title, defeating Karen Wilson 10-7 in the final after making a 147 in the semi-finals. O'Sullivan had withdrawn from that tournament on medical grounds. It was Murphy's fourth Triple Crown title overall. O'Sullivan hasn't helped matters over the years. At the 2024 Northern Ireland Open, he was caught on camera imitating Murphy's speaking style. Fans noticed. Murphy noticed. The tension remains palpable every time they meet. Number 7. Hossein Vafaei. The Iranian sensation didn't just pick a fight with O'Sullivan, he declared war. It started at the 2021 German Masters qualifiers. O'Sullivan was losing 4-0 to Vafaei when he did something that would haunt their relationship for years. He smashed the balls from the break-off, scattered them everywhere. It looked like he'd given up, like he didn't care. Vafaei won 5-0, but he was furious. He felt disrespected. In front of 70 or 80 million people watching in Iran. Fast forward to April 2022. Vafaei became the first Iranian player to qualify for the World Championship and used his platform to launch an extraordinary attack. "I think he should retire, to be honest with you," Vafaei said about O'Sullivan. "He should retire and then the younger generation make the game bigger. What has he done for us? Where are the big companies? He's been in the situation to make the game bigger. Why hasn't he done it?" Vafaei called O'Sullivan disrespectful and suggested he was not good for the game. He even referenced O'Sullivan's infamous numpties rant, where the Rocket had complained about lower-ranked players. "What kind of legend are you if you call people numpties?" Vafaei asked. When they finally met at the 2023 World Championship, the tension was electric. Vafaei said O'Sullivan was such a nice person when he's asleep. O'Sullivan responded by warning Vafaei not to rattle my cage. In the second frame of their match, Vafaei did something extraordinary. He smashed the balls from the break-off, just as O'Sullivan had done to him 2 years earlier. It was payback. Commentators were stunned. Six-time world champion Steve Davis called it disrespectful to the game of snooker. O'Sullivan pounced. He made a break of 78 and went on to crush Vafaei 13-2. Afterwards, they embraced. Vafaei said O'Sullivan had asked him to be friends again. "Everything is back like it was before," Vafaei claimed. But their history remains one of snooker's most explosive feuds. Number 6. Mark Selby. If any player knows how to get under O'Sullivan's skin, it's Mark Selby. The jester from Leicester has made a career out of frustrating the Rocket with his tactical, methodical approach. Their rivalry reached its peak at the 2014 World Championship final. O'Sullivan led 10-5. He was cruising toward a third consecutive world title. Then Selby went to work. He slowed the match down. He ground O'Sullivan into the table. Frame by frame, the lead evaporated. O'Sullivan looked increasingly agitated. The match that should have been his coronation became a nightmare. Selby won 18-14. It remains O'Sullivan's only defeat in a World Championship final. O'Sullivan never hid his frustration with Selby's style. During the 2008 Welsh Open final, with Selby battling back from 8-5 down, O'Sullivan was visibly bored. He was seen telling the crowd he was bored and described playing Selby as an endurance test, comparing him to Peter Ebdon. Years later, during the 2021 World Championship, Selby was warned by referee Ben Williams for taking over 3 minutes on a single shot. O'Sullivan couldn't resist commenting. He proposed a shot clock solution and warned Shaun Murphy, who was about to face Selby in the final, that playing the jester would leave him thinking, "I need a year off." "That's how bad he wants it," O'Sullivan said about Selby. "If Selby doesn't win it, Murphy isn't going to be sitting here going, 'Oh, that was enjoyable.' He's going to be thinking, 'That was horrible.'" The rivalry has cooled in recent years. Both men have spoken publicly about mental health struggles. But on the table, the tension between O'Sullivan's flair and Selby's grind remains one of snooker's defining contrasts. Number 5. Judd Trump. On paper, Trump and O'Sullivan should be allies. Both are attacking players. Both have won world titles. Both have transformed snooker's image. But their relationship has been complicated by competition and the occasional war of words. In 2020, during the pandemic-affected World Championship, O'Sullivan criticized conditions at the Crucible, calling players lab rats for competing with limited crowds. Trump fired back, calling O'Sullivan and anyone else with concerns selfish. He suggested O'Sullivan should just withdraw if he had problems. "I have been around the game long enough to know that if there is a World Championship coming up, he's going to try and get the headlines," Trump said. "Of all people, Ronnie is probably the only one who doesn't need the money." Trump went further in 2021, questioning whether O'Sullivan had lost his aura. "Look at Ronnie. He can't win an event to save his life at the moment," Trump told reporters. "I just think he's lost a little bit of the belief. When you don't win, you don't have the belief and people aren't scared to beat you." O'Sullivan responded sarcastically, "Maybe I'm lacking belief." But the comments stung. O'Sullivan has also taken shots at Trump's style. After defending a controversial banana shot that flew off the table during a 2019 match, O'Sullivan couldn't resist a dig. "Probably a lot of them are Selby fans and you cannot play that type of snooker," he said. "People appreciate different types of snooker. That's why we have Prada and TK Maxx." The implication was clear. O'Sullivan was Prada. Trump, well, he could figure that out for himself. Trump won the 2024 UK Championship and continues to chase O'Sullivan's records. Their rivalry is far from over. Number 4. Ali Carter. No feud in snooker runs deeper or hotter than O'Sullivan versus Carter. They've known each other since Carter was 13 years old. They used to practice together at a club in Witham. Carter credits those sessions with helping him break through as a professional. But somewhere along the way, the friendship curdled into something toxic. Carter has lost 2 World Championship finals to O'Sullivan in 2008 and 2012. Their most infamous clash came in 2018 in the second round at the Crucible. Carter led 8-3, then O'Sullivan staged a comeback to make it 9-8. With Carter leading 10-8 in the 19th frame, O'Sullivan fluked a snooker. As he returned to his seat, he shoulder-barged Carter. "That's for being Mr. Angry," O'Sullivan shouted from his chair. "You shoulder-barged me earlier. I thought I'd give you one back." "Thank you. Very nice of you," Carter replied, smiling through gritted teeth. The referee intervened. Carter won the match 13-9 and later claimed O'Sullivan had apologized months later. O'Sullivan denied it, but the real explosion came at the 2024 Masters final. O'Sullivan won 10-7, but the post-match press conferences descended into chaos. Carter accused O'Sullivan of snotting all over the floor during the match. "Anyone with eyesight or a brain can see what's going on," Carter said. "And it's disgusting, quite frankly. Outrageous behavior from a top professional." O'Sullivan's response was volcanic. "He needs to sort his life out," O'Sullivan ranted. I'm not going to skirt around it anymore, tiptoeing on eggshells around someone like that. He's a nightmare. Playing snooker against someone like that is a nightmare. He's not a nice person. It's not a nice vibe he leaves around the table. He's got issues. Carter later revealed he'd banned O'Sullivan's name from being spoken in his house. At the 2025 World Championship, they were drawn against each other in the first round. Carter gave a simple response when asked about facing his old enemy. No comment, really. O'Sullivan won 10-4. But afterwards, something unexpected happened. They shook hands warmly. O'Sullivan struck a conciliatory tone. "Me and Ali are fine," he said. "I was probably going through a bad time myself. He was probably going through a bit of a bad time. And you just sort of say things that you think, why did I say that?" Carter called O'Sullivan the greatest player of all time. Whether the truce lasts remains to be seen. Number 3. Barry Hearn. He's not a player, but no one has clashed with O'Sullivan more publicly than Barry Hearn, the former chairman of World Snooker and president of Matchroom Sport. When Hearn took charge of World Snooker in 2010, he transformed the tour. More tournaments, more opportunities for lower-ranked players, a global expansion of the sport. O'Sullivan hated almost all of it. He railed against increased travel expectations. He complained about flat 128 draws that forced top players to compete in more rounds against weaker opponents. He protested reduced prize money for maximum breaks. He called venues hellholes and accused the governing body of bullying and intimidating players. In 2018, O'Sullivan's attacks escalated. Dictatorship, it's called, disguised under democracy. O'Sullivan wrote on Twitter, "Barry don't care about snooker, it's all about the cash. He's full of, you know what, ain't got a clue about sport, mate. He's a number cruncher." Hearn fired back. "I have to factor in something special," Hearn said. "Ronnie is a genius and geniuses are not the same people as you and I. They don't have the same rationale. But he's making my life harder and harder. In a way, I think Ronnie would quite like to be banned because he becomes a martyr for whatever cause is in his head." O'Sullivan threatened to form a breakaway tour. He gave robotic, monosyllabic interviews in apparent protest. He deliberately refused maximum breaks because he felt the prize money was inadequate. When he had a chance at a 147 at the 2016 Welsh Open, he stopped at 146. He wasn't going to make a maximum for just £10,000. Hearn called it disrespectful and unacceptable. O'Sullivan put Hearn on mute on Twitter. He said talking to the chairman would be like talking to a brick wall. The feud has cooled slightly in recent years, but O'Sullivan remains snooker's most vocal critic of its leadership, and Hearn has never forgiven the personal attacks. Number 2. Stephen Hendry. Wait, Hendry? The 7-time world champion? O'Sullivan's supposed friend and broadcast colleague? Here's the thing. Rivalry breeds resentment, even when it's buried deep. Hendry dominated the 1990s. Then O'Sullivan arrived and eventually matched his record of 7 world titles. Hendry has called O'Sullivan the best player in the world by a country mile, but he's also made pointed criticisms. In 2024, Hendry described O'Sullivan as a percentage player, a term he admitted could be seen as derogatory. He suggested O'Sullivan no longer plays at his best consistently and instead relies on opponents to collapse. He starts off a lot of these matches not playing that well, Hendry observed. Then when he sort of senses the opponent is weakened, he's broken them, then all of a sudden he motors on and he wins the tournament. O'Sullivan, meanwhile, has a complicated relationship with Hendry's legacy. He's repeatedly stated he doesn't compare himself to Hendry, but he's also made comments suggesting their records aren't equivalent because of different eras. The rivalry peaked symbolically in 2006, when O'Sullivan was playing Hendry at the UK Championship. Down 4-1, struggling with personal issues, O'Sullivan suddenly conceded the match. He shook Hendry's hand and walked out. Hendry was stunned. "One of the most bizarre situations I've ever seen in a game of snooker," Jimmy White later called it. O'Sullivan explained he was in a bad place mentally. "I just was out there playing Hendry and thought, I'm not going to win this match. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to be here." I shook his hand and off I went. Hendry never forgot it. Their friendship has survived, but the competitive tension remains. Hendry wants to protect his legacy. O'Sullivan wants to exceed it. Number 1, himself. The player who has caused Ronnie O'Sullivan more problems than anyone else is Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's walked out of matches, he's conceded world titles, he's told young players they're so bad they would do well as half-decent amateurs. He's called venues hellholes and told parents not to let their children pursue snooker. He's battled depression, addiction, and self-doubt for his entire career. He's threatened to quit dozens of times and actually did take a year off after winning the 2012 World Championship. "I didn't think I'd be missed," he said at the time. He's alienated fellow players with his comments. He's frustrated governing bodies with his protests. He's made enemies of people who started as his biggest admirers, and yet somehow he keeps coming back. At 50 years old, he's still competing at the highest level, still reaching World Championship semi-finals, as he did in 2025 before losing 17-7 to eventual champion Zhao Xintong, still making maximum breaks. In August 2025 at the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, he became the oldest player ever to make a 147 in professional competition at 49 years and 253 days. He didn't just make one, he made two, in the same match, against Chris Wakelin, in a single session. Nobody had ever done that before. John Higgins once said that O'Sullivan only loses when he gives his opponent permission to beat him. That's the tragedy and the brilliance of Ronnie O'Sullivan. His greatest enemy has always been himself, and somehow, against all odds, he keeps winning that battle too. He got married in June 2025 to actress Layla Ruas after years of an on-again, off-again relationship. Maybe he's finally found some peace. Or maybe the next controversy is just around the corner. From Robidoux to Carter, from Ebdon to Vafaei, Ronnie O'Sullivan has made enemies across 3 decades of professional snooker. Some feuds burned hot and faded. Others still simmer today. But love him or hate him, there's no denying one thing. Snooker would be far less interesting without him. The Rocket may have more rivals than friends on tour, but he also has more trophies than anyone else. And in the end, that's what matters most.